After learning of the Australian Prime Minister call, I liken this to a global Watergate.
As the tentacles of this investigation spread tonight, the president refuses to budge in his defense of that damning phone call.
Trump's now famous phone call with the Ukrainian president awakened the Democratic Party.
It is deadly serious. This abuse of power and offense against the Constitution is so important in moving the impeachment proceeding forward.
There you've got some on the left and media ramping up attacks against the president, but our next guest has a reality check, writing in a new op-ed, quote, "Sorry, Dems, it's okay to ask for foreign help in a criminal justice investigation." And he says when it comes to hiring a private lawyer to conduct research, it was, quote, "the Democrats who told us there is nothing wrong or illegal about that." Here with an explanation, Fox News contributor and former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush, Marc Thiessen. Marc, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Okay, so you're saying there's nothing the matter with the Donald Trump asking a foreign government for help because it's a Department of Justice investigation.
Yes, what the Trump's opponents are doing is they're conflating two different things. The first investigation is Rudy Giuliani's investigation into Hunter Biden and his activities, which is a private activity. It's an opposition research activity, in effect. And the Durham investigation, which is a official Justice Department investigation into the origins of the Mueller probe, which is being carried out by John Durham, who's a career prosecutor. He investigated the CIA interrogation program. He's completely nonpartisan. A straight arrow, and there is nothing wrong with the President of the United States or the Attorney General talking to foreign leaders and saying, I want you to cooperate with an official Justice Department investigation.
Right, and that's one of the reasons, in fact, actually, that the Attorney General is out and about overseas, and he's trying to talk to these foreign governments, saying, hey, can you help our Department of Justice? We're trying to get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, not what's going to happen in 2020.
And all the people who were so anxious to find out what happened in 2016 when they thought Donald Trump had colluded with the Russians have suddenly lost interest in what happened in 2016. I mean, look, the American people support the Durham probe because for two years they were told that Donald Trump had colluded with Russia, that he was a Russian agent, that he had conspired with Vladimir Putin, that he had committed crimes beyond Watergate. And then they took those charges seriously. They were serious charges. They wanted to know what happened. And it turned out the Mueller probe came out. None of it was true. It was a conspiracy theory. Right. And so Americans want to get to the bottom of how is it that our country was paralyzed for 2 years with this chasing a conspiracy theory, sending tens of millions of dollars doing this. And 61% of Americans, after the Mueller probe came out, wanted to appoint a special counsel to investigate what happened, how the Mueller probe got started. So, you know, Americans want to get to the bottom of this, and they have and the president has a right to ask foreign governments to help.
You know, and when Americans start to think about, let me get this straight, for the last 3 years, the Democrats have been talking about impeaching the president for colluding with Russia. And then, because that didn't pan out, they turned on a dime. And suddenly, none of it's about Russia, and it's all about that phone call.
Well, that phone call was troubling for a reason. Donald Trump is helping the Democrats conflate these things because he lumped in Barr with Rudy Giuliani in that phone call, and there should be a firewall between those two things. There's nothing wrong with Rudy Giuliani going out and investigating Hunter Biden or even doing opposition research for the president, because that's what the Steele dossier was, right? The Democrats' defense of the Steele dossier was it's opposition research. Everybody does it. If that's a campaign finance violation, then let's lock up Hillary Clinton because she did the exact same thing. But there has to be a firewall between these two things, and unfortunately the president has blurred the lines between official and unofficial.
So, Mark, it was okay for him to say the Attorney General is going to call you separately. It's okay, Rudy Giuliani is going to call you. Just don't put them in the same sentence.
And no, don't put him in the same phone call. Donald Trump should not be calling foreign leaders saying cooperate with Rudy Giuliani, because that is and Rudy Giuliani shouldn't be saying I'm doing this on behalf of the State Department, putting fake White House seals on documents. He should be conducting he should be acting on behalf of the Trump campaign and Trump in his private capacity, not government.
Well, there you go. Now we know. Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, progressive Democrats